There we go. Okay. Just going to move my screen so you can see my feet a little bit more. I want to work with a bit with syncing tonight. I want to look at how we sync and how I'll talk it through as we go through the class. But we'll start with our normal awareness of the feet, awareness of the sensations in the feet, awareness of the structure of the legs, the rounding out of the thighs, the opening of the knees, the rolling the feet slightly onto the outside edge, so the bridge of the foot can have a chance to have some life by not being squashed onto the ground. The lower back can open and the pelvis can begin to have some freedom. Just going to loosen the shoulders. Just let there be some freedom of movement in the upper body too. I'm going to lift up the chest. I'm going to lift up the crown of the head and bring some tallness into my structure. Right from the feet pushing up, thighs pushing up, the chest lifting, the crown of the head lifting. And then the knees bend and are settled. First loosening exercise. Don't be in a rush to move off one leg. Don't be in a rush to move to one leg. Let both legs lower you. Let both knees bend. Let both hips soften. And let both legs lower you. Don't be in a rush to move across. Lower your body gently onto both legs and then towards one leg. Lower your body down. Both knees are bending. Both legs are active in letting yourself sink. It's not just one leg that sinks. You end up on one leg, but you're starting off with both legs lowering you down. It's exactly the same as when we do this exercise. At the beginning of the form, both legs change. Both knees bend. The body lowers down as if you're settling into sand. You want the same feeling here. Both legs change. And in the turning, then you move across. Then you move across. Then you move across. And you don't need to go 100% to 45 degrees. Maybe just going towards, instead of 10:30, 11 o'clock is fine. Same sink and turn. But make sure there's definitely a sinking first, then a turn. They can be just about at the same time, but make sure both knees bend. Then you're moving across. Both legs bend. Then you move across. We want the body to be dropping into sand. The first stage is to drop into sand. When you drop into sand, your feet pressure doesn't increase. Your foot pressure increases in the second phase, and the second phase is when we soften the lower back and allow the body to fully melt and to, well, the first you could call sinking into sand, lowering or sinking, the first stage. And the second stage is settling. This is when you will feel the foot pressure increase. And this is when you feel the start of the rebound of the turning the hips square. The first stage is lowering the body. And the second stage, sinking the body. And as the body continues to sink, we square. First stage is lowering, or melting, or dropping, or knees bending, or moving down an inch or an inch and a half, both legs, and turning, position and structure, moving into position and structure, and then in position and structure, you release, sinking, opening the lower back, softening the chest, letting the body become softer and softer and softer into the structure without looking for any more dropping, without looking for any more lowering of the height of the body, just inside the body, completely releasing, completely releasing. Put the body into position, sinking, structure, and then release, rebound. Move across, bend the knees, let the legs lower the body, let the hips turn the body, drawing down then towards the right leg, towards the left leg. Structure of the body, and then melting of the body. In the melt, keep going with this, and in the melting of the body, that's when you could say, if you look at my body while you're doing it, in the sinking into the sand, the knees bend and the body lowers. And in the second stage, the lower back opens. Because the changes at this point are inside the body. And as the lower back opens, the tail drops, the pelvis rotates. So the front of the pelvis is coming up, the back of the pelvis is dropping, and the pressure in the feet increases. The body softens, the chest relaxes, and the shoulders drop. So you've got a second phase. The first phase is lowering yourself into the position from which you can let go of all your tension, and the body changes on the inside. So the first is like a lift in a lift shaft. And when you've got a lift in a lift, you've got the lift shaft. When you've got the lift in the lift shaft, the lift goes up and down in the lift shaft. The whole lift shaft moves down into position. The whole body, what's inside the body and the structure of the body, moves down into a connected position. Then you drop the lift. The lift shaft stays in place and the lift inside the lift shaft drops down. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but what you don't want to happen is that when the lift drops, the lift shaft moves. So that would equate to when the lower back opens, the body leans back. We often see that. We often see if there's tension here, that when the lower back and the tail changes, the middle back moves with it, because there's no fluidity or separation between the lower back and the middle back. And we don't want that to happen. We want the rotation to happen within the structure of the body, not causing the structure of the body to change. So when the hips rotate, they don't move the upper body. The upper body stays in place and the hips change and the pressure increases in the feet. The chest opens and the whole body gives up its strength. So in the exercise, that looks like both knees bend, body begins to turn, and I move into a structure. In that structure, I release and I let myself press onto the ground, and the force from the ground rebounds the body back to this position. There's no contracting of the muscles to push the body back. We must really try and not use the same muscles we use for generating movement forwards or for running or for walking or propelling. We mustn't use these forces to put the body back into the center. We must use the compression we find and the body being extremely loose to naturally return. So it's like you compress the body and then you soften it to allow it to expand. What you don't do is compress the body, then move the whole body. It's like moving the lift shaft again with contracted muscles. We don't want to lift the whole structure. We want to keep the structure connected and let something bubble up through the structure. As a result of that, the body turns and moves. The movement comes from the letting go. It doesn't come from an active pushing up. The body may lift, but it doesn't come from lifting the body. So to train that, you have to really listen. You have to really find a good structure, and then you have to melt, open the lower back. Tail drops towards the foot. Chest follows and the shoulders drop. Whole body presses onto the ground lightly. Lower the body. Find the structure of the body. Sink and release the body. Lower the body. Find the structure of the body. Release. Settle. Number 2. First, lower the body. Bend the knees. Drop the height of the body into your structure. Find your structure. Then release through the whole body. As the body comes up, you're still releasing. You're still releasing. Sinking into sand, the knees bend, the body drops by 1.5 inches. The body softens and drops. The legs bend and drop the body down. You have to feel both legs lowering the body. Then open the lower back. Pressure increases in the feet. Continue to melt onto that pressure. Start the process again. Lower the body. Release the body. Lower the body. Bend the knees. Sink the body downwards into sand. Let the legs take you downwards, connecting the body into the center, into the stable position, and then increase the pressure within the body. So make sure there are definitely 2 stages of first melting or bending the legs, taking the body down into a lowered, structured position. We want to connect the body onto the ground, onto itself, center connected into the hips connected into the knees, the chest connected into the center. The whole body connected is the first stage to find. When the body is connected, we can then talk about compressing it. This is like finding the shape of a beach ball that's going to have maximum efficiency of being compressed. What we don't want is the shape of a solid ball that's held, that can't compress. What we don't want is a floppy ball that when it's compressed doesn't create any force. We want to drop into a structure that then can further drop into a compression. And the words we use are sinking, to take the body down, releasing, followed by settling or changing the muscles on the inside, becoming more fluid, becoming more buoyant. Exercise number 3. You have to find similar things, the body sinking and organizing, and then releasing. Sinking and organizing, followed by releasing. Sinking and organizing, structuring the body so that when you release, the lower back opens, the shoulders sink, body connects. Further into compression, forces flow through the body. First thing has to be in place. The first connection has to be in place in order for the second to have meaning. It's like you can't get pressure inside a bike pump unless your thumb's over the hole. You just won't get the pressure inside the pump because the thumb going over the hole is part of the structure of creating the closed system. If the thumb stays off the end of the bike pump and you try and get pressure inside it, you won't. So likewise, when you loosen and take the weight of the body down into connected position, the hips soften, body softens and allows itself to come into structure. Then, from that place, the changes are on the inside. So first job, if you like, is finding the right structure in the body, in the postures, from which you can then develop the compressions. And the mind has to go deeper to find the structure of the body, and it has to drop much deeper still to find the sensations that control the compressions within the body. There's a strong meditation of really listening to the body. First, the outside of the body and the structure of the body, and then dropping deeper, the lower back opens, torso changes, melts, shoulders melt, and synchronization with what the lower back's doing. So you get the timing of the movement all synchronized together. Fourth exercise. Falling into structure, lower the body. As if you're sinking into sand. Lower, let the legs, both legs lower the body. As the body lowers, torso lowers, the shoulders come into place, the body is now connected. Legs bend, torso softens, shoulders connect. Look for that place where you feel connected. This is the same place in every posture. When you come into a posture, body's sunk, the hips are seated, body's connected. The elbows are dropped, shoulders are relaxed, the body is connected. It's not held up, it's not tight anywhere. It's in alignment and it's allowed to drop into itself and find that place of connection. That's the first part that we're looking for. Then Once the body's connected, sink. Open the lower back, open the chest, open the shoulders. The force comes back through from the feet to the hands. The first part is looking at structure. The second part is looking at forces within the body. The only way we generate forces in the body in Tai Chi is by letting go. Letting go allows the weight of the body to press in. Letting go allows the muscles of the body to stretch further, creating the force we're looking for. Force in Tai Chi isn't generated by contracting the muscles. That's an external force, that's a push, that's a shove. We're not shoving. The classics constantly say that it talks about a man, but it says the old man can defeat the younger man. Could be woman. The older person can defeat the younger person. Not from the strength and not from speed, but by a deeper quality of change within the body, which is what we're looking for. Fifth exercise. Sit back. Both legs bend. Use the front leg to draw you into the center. Don't just let the back leg be active here. Let the front leg draw you down into the structure you're looking for, of seated hips, of upright body, of relaxed body, pressed onto the legs. Then open the lower back and drop the back knee, increase the pressure in the back leg, and sink onto the front leg. Very small external movements, very big internal pressures. Sit back. Sink into structure. Find your best structure. Release. Remember, when you release, the lower back's going to give in and open. Whole body becomes much softer. The result of softening drops the back knee to the ground. Pressure increases in the back leg. Front hip is soft. Sink to the front leg. Change the connection from 55 in the back to 55 in the front. The force rises through as you drop the upper body, comes through to the hands. Sit back. Simply sitting back. Then drop into the center, connect. Then change the forces in the back leg and the front leg. And sit right back. Change sides. Sit back. 90% in the back leg. Drop into the center. Let the legs lower you into the position. Let the legs do the work. Let them lower you. Both the back leg and the front leg lowers you into the centrally stable position. In that position, the second part takes place where you soften the lower back, open the lower back, and bring the back knee to the ground and bring the connection to the front foot. Back leg can then expand. Sit back. Both legs drop you into the center. Don't try and just use the back leg. Try and let both legs drop you in. It's like falling into the center, falling into structure. Then back leg, drop the knee, open the back hip. Pressure in the back leg drops the hips to the front leg. Back leg expands. Sit right back. Just want to do a little walking exercise that will give us an idea of hopefully what I'm trying to share here. Have a look. So I'm going to sit back, turn open to the corner, walk forwards and take a step. Move in. As I move in, find the structure. Find the structure. Use your legs to lower you into the posture. Sit back. Open to the corner. As you open the front foot, there's no weight in it. Move to the corner. Step. Facing the corner. Use both legs to fall in. Turning into the posture. In. Let the legs, both legs, drop you into the center. Sit back. Facing the corner, fall in. Make it very exaggerated if you like, and deliberate, and perhaps not so Taiji as you're used to, but so it's obvious that your legs are letting you fall in. But it's not so much that you're gliding in, trying to create something as you go. No, you're coming into the center one. Just looking for number one. Number one is structure. Hips seated, body upright, nice and stable and connected. You can do it with the sinking with an out breath. It can be quite a quick dropping of your body into the center. Strong. Sit back, turn open. All the weights in the back leg. Move on to the front. Take a step. Soon as your foot touches, drop in. And let your legs do the work. Let your legs do the work. Don't think about moving your upper body in. Think about how your legs bend, how your legs support your body. There's your structure in your legs. Your upper body's just on top of it. Structure. Nice, strong structure in your body. Okay?
Luke, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
When you say drop in, do you mean drop into a 50-50?
Yeah, for now, yeah. Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Just drop into a centrally stable posture where your legs are drawing you down. Don't think about 55-45 at the moment. Just keep it really almost too gross, but really make sure that this is something that's comfortable and isn't something that contains tension in the body. So your centrally stable posture is simply like a letter Y that's upside down. It's like you've got two legs and you've got the central trunk of the body. And it's just simply three parts of the body, the legs and the torso. And as you find your legs bend, it draws your upper body into the right position. And both legs are doing the work, not just the back leg. I think what happens when we do the fifth loosening exercise is people get tight in the back leg because all your weight's on the back leg, you're falling in, but the front leg needs to be just as active in drawing you down when you move forwards. When you move forwards, your front leg is just as active as your back leg when you move in. So if we change that now to the first move of the form, here, both legs draw you down. Let it come from the legs. Let it come from the legs into structure. Just the sinking. So when you're ready, when you're at the top, the legs do the work. Both legs the same. Both legs draw you down. Both hips soften. Chest softens, the shoulders can drop, but it's still sinking and it's still drawing down in the legs right through until the thumbs touch. Keep it really overly simplified, if you like, that the legs are changing, the legs are changing, the legs are dropping down, the legs are dropping your height downwards. Downwards, downwards, the legs bringing you into position. So when we do this walking, same thing, the legs bringing you into position. Change it back to walking, both legs bringing you into position. Not stronger in one or the other, but nice and balanced like a letter Y. Into the structure, into a simple structure that feels like, well, I could hold this structure for a long time. Doesn't feel tight in the legs, doesn't feel held in the legs, doesn't feel pulled in the legs. I'm just nicely, comfortably settled. That's the feeling we want. Okay. So the second part, once we're in the structure, then the work from that point on, or the process from that point on, is much more internalized. So once we're in the center and once we're connected, then we want to start changing the pressure within the system meaning the whole body. So then the back leg changes. The knee drops to the ground. The pressure in the back foot will be 55. Hip opens. Because we've dropped the back leg increases to 55. And immediately, as soon as you've got pressure in one place, something's going to respond to it. And because the center is soft and fluid, it opens and moves forwards onto the front leg. It's like a wave of pressure we generate in the back leg, and the result of that wave of pressure is that the center stays connected to it, but it rolls underneath and forwards, sinking onto the front foot. So this process becomes natural, caused by the pressure in the back leg, not by something we have to do. So it's not like I drop the back knee, then do something. It's not two things that are do this and then do that. It's like the whole system is connected. And when one part of it creates pressure, it's like icing a cake with one of those things. As soon as you squeeze it, the icing comes out, or, doing the mastic round a silicone round the bathroom sink. As soon as you squeeze it, the stuff comes out. It responds to the pressure you're creating. That's the type of relationship we want to try and find with the movement of the hips. So when you're in the center and you start to load the back leg by dropping the back knee and creating the correct pressure in the back leg, the correct looseness in the hips, the correct opening of the lower back, that will create the silicone in the gun, if you like, to move. And it moves towards the front foot, sinking into the front foot, which allows the back leg to expand, which you could say is the plunger moving. With the change in the forces going through the body, the plunger moves in. So the back leg passively expands. You drop the knee, you open the back hip, you open the lower back, the forces increase in the back leg, which glide the hips forwards and under towards the sinking into the front foot, and the back leg expands to fill up the void, to fill up the space where the hips work. As the hips are moving slightly down and under, the back leg has to change. Any observations or questions to that? I'm trying to give a really thorough explanation over the last few weeks of how this takes place. Kind of build on what we've been doing to start to develop something. It's important that the first structural quality of the body is really loose, right? Because what I see is people moving into the center, too much tension in the back leg, not enough sinking in the front, and too much tension in the back. When you move into the center, both legs have to allow you to be lowered into the structure you're looking for, rather than trying to load the back leg as you come in into a stretch as you come in, which puts too much tension in the back leg and the front leg is disconnected because it's tight. Okay, so we want the body to be really loose, both legs there for you, the body just resting on the legs, and to find this lightly connected, structured position before you start to create any forces in the body. Let's go through the form. We're going to look for those. We're going to look for those positions. We're going to take time with each position. We're going to move back and forth between the positions and just try and find a comfortable, connected posture before we do anything with it. So, from standing posture, take your time to organize the structure of the vertical body. Push up, use the thighs to lift the chest, lift the back of the neck, lift the crown of the head. Lower the body, both legs, lower the body. The legs lower the body. Then release the lower back. Drop the back knee, increase the pressure in the right leg. So much pressure that it can support the weight of the body. Move across, sinking both legs. Sinking both legs, sinking both legs. Find the structure. Then drop the back knee, open the lower back, increase the pressure, and let the hips move. Sink. Structure of the body is connected. Let the legs lower you as if you're sinking into sand. Turn. Sit back. Both legs draw you into the center. Find that place where you could stand in this posture for 10 minutes, no problem. If your back leg's tight, if your front leg's tight, you won't be able to stand in this posture. You're looking for a quality of relaxation and settling where you could just happily be in this posture for 10 minutes. Then, back leg changes. Soften the back hip. Let the back knee drop to the ground into the foot. Increases the pressure and the hips draw forwards to the front leg. Soften the front leg to allow the hips in. Drop the shoulders and the wave comes through to the hands as the back leg expands. Drop onto the front leg and sink. Glide in. Turn. Let both legs draw you down. Step one. Both legs lower you. Find your structured posture. And soften the back hip. Drop the knee to the foot. Increase the pressure in the back leg. And let your hips, as a result of that pressure, let your hips rotate open and glide to the front foot. Sink the shoulders and a wave comes through to the hands. Turn. As you turn, you sink. Glide in. Find the structure of the posture. If your legs feel tight, if your ankles feel tight, come up, go back down. Body feels out of alignment. Take your time to really find the structure of the body. Upside down, letter Y. Simple. No force in the body as such, just simply connected and relaxing. Nice round structure in the arms. Release shoulders, upright crown of the head. Increase the pressure in the back leg by opening the lower back, by softening the front hip, the back hip joint, by dropping the knee directly to the foot. That's going to have a force that pushes your hips down and forwards, tucking them under and sinking onto the front foot. At the same time, the hips turn to the corner. Now I'm more in the front foot. Stay in the front foot. Release to the back leg, 90% back. Turn open. Turn back. When you move forward, don't try and load the back leg. Both legs draw you into the 50-50 posture. Simple. Upside down letter Y. Stay in that position for a long time. If you've gone down too far, your ankles will be tight. Come up. Find the place where all the joints are open, yet connected and loose and fluid. Then we're going to change the pressure within the closed system. So the back hip softens, the lower back opens, the knee drops towards the foot. That creates pressure in the back leg, which advances the hips down and forwards. Remember, the hips going down and forwards to the front leg. They're not lifting. The hips are not lifting. The hips are rotating under and connecting to the front foot. Same time, shoulders drop, following the lead of the lower back opening. Press. As you sink onto the front foot, press. Sit back. Both legs draw you down. Make sure you're not too low down. Make sure your ankles aren't tight. Make sure your legs are open. Make sure your body's a nice upside down letter Y, lightly connected. Balanced and buoyant. Change the connection in the back leg by softening the back hip, opening the lower back, dropping the knee to the foot to increase the pressure into the foot. That pressure itself advances the hips. As if the hips are just a boat on water and the pressure underneath lets the hips roll forwards to the front leg. Drop the shoulders and the wave comes through to the hands. Sit back. Turn. Move in. Both legs drop the body. Lower the body down into a connected posture. Remember, you could stand in that position for a few minutes and it would not feel uncomfortable. It's relaxed and it's upright and it's buoyant. From that system of connectedness, you're going to increase the pressure in the back, between the back knee and the back foot. Hips advance, tuck under, sink to the front foot, wave through to both hands. Turn. Into the center. Remember, both legs are drawing you down. Find the place where your body's upright, connected and settled. Change the compression in the back leg. Follow it through to its completion. Spiral up and sink. Connected. Turn and chop. Brush left knee, twist step. Both legs draw you into stable, upright, connected, lightly pressed onto the ground, sunk condition. Haven't created the compression yet. This follows on from what we do in the lower back, what we do in the back hip, how we drop the back knee into the foot, how loose we are in the hips, allowing the hips to fluidly sink and move towards the front foot. Followed by the shoulders opening, chest moving through the shoulders, stretch coming into the arms, and a wave of movement coming through to the hands. Look at how both legs draw you into the position. Don't think about the upper body moving in. Think about both legs drawing you down and the upper body following that movement into the posture. When you feel comfortable, when you feel upright, you may have to reorganize your posture, change the back leg. First, find the structure. Comfortable, settled, connected, quietly accurate. Increase the pressure. Forces change and move the power through the body. Find the structure. Don't look for strength. Don't look for forces as you move in. Look for the structure first. Loose, fluid, and buoyant. Then change the forces within the body. Just across hands. One of the commonest mistakes I kind of see and I recognize from my own practice is when there's too much tension in the body, it gets in the way of everything we're trying to do. And it sounds really simple and it sounds really easy to say and it sounds kind of glib. Yeah, there's too much tension in the body, you have to get rid of tension. You have to recognize and train in a way that makes you feel the difference between when there is tension and when there isn't tension. So when we train in this way, and we just simply let the body rest in a comfortable position, and we say to ourselves, could I stand in that posture for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Am I creating tension in the muscles of my legs? No, I'm really letting myself in. I'm softening. I'm upright. Gravity's pressing me and there's comfort in my body. I'm not trying to generate force yet. I'm just trying to find a roundness or buoyancy from which force can then move through that sphere. And I often like the idea of the Newton's cradle. You know, you've got those silver balls hanging on string and they're really light and loose, and yet they're really accurate to the next ball and they're just touching. So when one swings, it moves through and moves the other one, the force moves through. That accuracy of those balls can't be underestimated. They can't be 2 millimeters out, or they can't be not touching. They have to be touching. And the center of the ball has to be right next to the next center of the ball. Then you get the kinetic movement going through. And I know we're not exactly like that, but that's a really nice analogy that shows you the quality we're looking for is about being really super alive to how much tension there is in our bodies. and not getting away with, oh, that's enough, that's good enough. No, it's not good enough because the force isn't going to move through. We have to really work through our training with super letting go, and super organizing our bodies so they can be the vehicle for the force. We have to get out the way enough so the force itself can move through us. Then we're talking proper Tai Chi. And because I know everyone who's thrown somebody really well, and they look at me and they say, I didn't do anything. I say, that's what we're after. That's what we're after. We're after the force that throws someone and it feels like we don't even do it. And then there's something kind of, I don't like the word mystical or magical, but there's something in there that's of another order at least. And that's what we're trying to find in this art form. Something that's kind of beyond the ordinary. And the striving towards it and the training towards it has to be quite methodical, because it's very easy to move into a posture. As we move in, there's too much tension in the ankle. As we move in, there's too much holding in the hips. Nothing's going to shift through that blockage. We have to find a place where those holdings are released, where the body just comes simply a body that's buoyant and pressed onto the ground. And then we can do the next layer. So I hope that's something of an explanation, and I hope you can feel different things and find different things through working in that way. Yeah. So at some point, give me some feedback how you're getting on. Either send me an email, or if you've got questions for next week, let me know. Because I'd be quite interested in. I'm trying to find a new angle, if you like, of it, because I'm doing the white crane training, which is much more about structure in the body. Much more about having a really structured, organized body so that forces can move. The Tai Chi and the white crane are very interlinked in the way the principles are the same between the two systems. And I'm just trying to make us look at the same thing from a slightly different angle each time. Because I know that for one person it'll work really well, for another person it'll be, what the hell is he going on about again? And trying to find different ways, and then someone will say, that really works for me, that way of training. And then you find something you go, I can really work with this. So let's go through the form again. We've got about 5 minutes. We'll go from cross hands, carry on with the form. I like doing it in small chunks because the concentration can be quite intense, and to go through a whole form, we're changing directions all the time and you may need to look at the screen. So doing it in small chunks I think is good. It gives you a chance to refresh and keep a fresh concentration. So we'll go from cross hands. Remember to organize your structure. Round out the legs. Soften the hip joints. Lift the chest. Lift the back of the neck. Lift the crown of the head. Settle the body into an upside down letter Y. Let the shoulders connect. Hands crossed. Lightly held at the height of the throat. Just enough force to hold the weight of the arm up. Don't need to overly hold the arms up, just enough to keep the wrists up in place and to drop the elbows and to drop the shoulders. Body should feel like a puppet held by the crown of the head. It should feel like you could stand in that posture for a long time. Bend both knees, take the body down, and turn towards the right leg. Turn back, throw out the left arm. Sit away from the right arm. Draw in the right toe, step to the corner, move into the center. Both legs take you down into the structure posture. When you're in the structured posture, we're going to bring force through the body. So we drop the back knee connects to the back foot, lower back opens, turning the hips, wave comes through to the hands, stay on the front foot. Now sit back, draw back to the back foot, 90% back. Make sure you're upright, comfortable, stable, over the back foot, turn open without losing your grounding, without losing your, or tightening the ankle. Keep your grounding in the back leg and turn open, sinking. Turn back. Both legs draw you in until your right 50-50 position, right in the middle, 50-50 position. Then you increase the pressure in the back leg to 55. Change to the front, drop the shoulders, wave through to the hands as the back leg expands. Draw back, 90% back. Use both legs to draw you down, connect. Posture you could hold for a long time. If it's not, readjust. Make sure the sternum's up, make sure the crown of the head is up, make sure the muscles are hanging off the skeleton. Lightly connected. Change the pressure within the body, dropping the back knee. Drop the shoulders. As the back leg expands, a wave comes through to the hands. Sit back. Turn. Single whip. To the corner. Feet at 90 degrees. Move in. Turn. Both legs drop you into sand. Connected. Upright. Sunk. Left foot up past 10. Change the pressure in the back leg by softening the lower back, opening the front back hip, drop the knee to the foot. The pressure between the foot and the knee increases, and as a result, the hips roll forwards, tucking under and connecting more to the front foot. Shoulders drop, wave comes through to the hands. Sit back, turn. Step left, step right, walk onto the right foot, sinking. Turn and jab. Punch under elbow. Punch under elbow. Balanced, upright, sunk, connected. Stand on one leg in this posture for a few minutes, no problem. That means you may have to change your posture, change the tension in the body, settle the body, fall away from the crown of the head. You have to feel what you can do to be able to hold this posture on one leg for a few minutes without it being a problem. Open. Close. Step. Structure. Sinking. Open. Close. Step. Both legs draw you down. Change to the back leg. Sinking. Both legs sink. Draw you down. Change to the back leg. Connected. Last one on the left. close, turn, sinking and spiraling. Step right into the center. Both legs draw you down into the structured, stable posture. Drop the back knee, advance the hips. Posture. Turn and draw in the top hand. Waving hands like clouds. Last one, turn open the left foot, turn in the right. Transverse single width into the center. Both legs draw you down. Structure. Increase the pressure in the back leg. Dropping the back knee, opening the back hip. Wave through to the hands. Single width into the center. Both legs draw you down. You should be able to stand in this posture quite some time comfortably. There's nothing going on in the body other than the weight of the body pressing you lightly onto the ground. Single width. Increase the pressure in the back leg. Let the hips follow it. Drop the shoulders, wave through to both hands. We're going to close that. Good. If you're, I hope if you're following this training method and adding these layers in, then tonight's class perhaps a little bit different, but you know, hopefully there's something in there to kind of find and feel and make a kind of, you know, no, that feels a little bit different in what I'm doing, and then there's something you can kind of train and explore. It's all about exploring. Great. Thank you very much.
Hey, Luke, I went to a seminar today on this architecture course.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all about structure and loads.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I can't do maths. I'm not going to be able to get this. But, you know, we were talking about putting pressure on something. And, you know, with Newton's law, exactly the same pressure comes back, and, you know, solid object will start pushing back. And I thought, oh, this sounds a bit like Taiji, you know.
Yeah.
And then buildings were described as always floating. So an architect will always regard a building as floating, whatever it's on. If it's on a mountain, it's still floating, you know. And I thought, well, it's not just the human body, it's like everything. Yeah. You know, adheres to these principles of the universe, you know. Yeah,
these are you know, we're exploring them in small detail, but it's kind of a, you know, macrocosm, microcosm stuff, really.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Leonardo da Vinci Vitruvian Man, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, the body is just a reflection of the whole thing.
Yeah, these things were understood very, very clearly a long time ago, and
that's right.
The more you go into that sort of stuff, it's fascinating, really. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Great, nice one, Robert. Thanks for sharing that. That's really interesting. Good to know. Great. Have a good week, everybody. Keep well, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'll send the recording out.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.